Hi there. Assuming you have at least 1 million Kenya shillings, how best can you go about investing your million or even so your millions? And by the way, I'm always pro investing because it is through investing that you can be able to see your money grow exponentially. In other words, you won't have to work very hard to see your money grow. And even so, with such an amount of money, you can be able to build a system which is going to ensure you continuously generate money. You are all much welcomed to the Money Daily YouTube channel. My name is Afagza Sifunam. And by the way, if you are new here, kindly consider subscribing to this channel. Subscribe because I'm out here each and every day bringing you awesome videos around personal finance, investing, and also going out there to show you real estate, show you projects, you name it. While you also edit, kindly consider dropping a like on this video. Thank you for subscribing and also liking this video. Assuming, for example, you have 1 million Kenya shillings. Of course, everybody out here is different. People are going to spend this money in a different way. To give you an example, someone, for example, could decide to go for a trip, say, for example, in Mombasa, Zanzibar, or even whichever other country out there, which is in their bucket list. Go really enjoy, spend the entire amount of money. Another person, for example, could decide to go for a shopping spree. But the wisest of people out there decide to invest so that this money can actually generate for them more money, for them to be able to do all those other things which they desire. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you 10 ways you can go about investing your 1 million with the goal of seeing your 1 million increase in value over time and even so exponentially. Having said that, here are the 10 ways you can go about investing your 1 million Kenya shillings. The very first way is you investing in real estate. Guys, 1 million is not a lot of life-changing money when it comes to real estate sphere. Nevertheless, you can still enjoy the pie of the real estate sector. How can you go about it? You can, for example, invest at a small scale. Assuming, for example, you already have a piece of land, you could look to develop it, even temporary structures through which you can be able to trigger rental income. Alternatively, in real estate, you can do something which we call flipping, whereby you target to buy undervalued kind of assets, even some assets out there, real estate, which are, for example, dilapidated, and then you renovate them and then sell them at a higher price. With 1M, most in case you are outside Nairobi, maybe in a certain town out there, talk about, for example, Muranga, talk about, for example, Isiolo, Kakamega, you name it. You could decide to do flipping of real estate. Of course, you're going to start with one property and then over time, see how you can expand your flipping game. Also in the real estate space, you can, for example, jump on the Airbnb, get the rentals out there, ensure they're furnished, and then seek to rent them out to people for short-term stays. And the last way, which you can also enjoy the real estate pie with 1 million Kenya shillings, is you investing in REITs, real estate investment trusts. In other words, you too partaking in investing real estate through companies which put money in real estate out there and also are traded publicly. For example, in Nairobi Stock Exchange, we have one real estate investment trust company. I think it's called Fahari, or is it Faraja? I'll look at the exact name. But it is the only REIT listed in the Nairobi Securities Exchange, which allows you to also put money down in REITs and be able to enjoy in returns, which come from this company investing in real estate. And then the second way you can invest your 1 million is you investing in what I call fixed income securities. What do I mean? There are those securities out there through which you can put down money and then be able to enjoy fixed income. In this context, I'm talking about those government securities which are floated from time to time. For example, treasury bills. For example, government bonds. And by the way, I was looking at some reports some time back. Last year, we were talking about the return on government securities being average rate of 13%. In fact, it really beat what the return was in real estate, what the return was in equities stock market out there. That tells you this is also a viable way of you investing your 1 million shilling. You put your 1 million in government securities. After 1 year, you're gonna have at least 130K extra. And of course, this is fixed income securities, because most of the times the rates are predetermined before you enter the agreement of you lending money to government, and then the bidding is going to actually push the ceiling of those particular returns high and higher. And then the third way you can invest 1 million shilling is you investing in equities. In other words, you jumping and investing in equities in the stock market. Talk about buying shares, buying stocks out there, buying bonds of specific companies, you name it. Equities are essentially those public listed companies which have way of borrowing from the public, and then they float their shares. Most of the time the floating is happening through initial public offering. Right now we're talking about there being at least 64 companies listed in the Nairobi Securities Exchange. You can look to jump on any of these companies' securities and then be able to also partake in sharing of dividends and also seeing your investment grow over time. And by the way, we are talking about, for example, the Nairobi Securities Exchange having multiple sectors. For example, service and commercial. For example, agriculture, automobile, telcos, you name it. We have very many companies, big companies in Kenya, for example, Safaricom, BAT, you name it. There are very many, Standard Group, Nation Media, all the banks out there listed in the Nairobi Securities Exchange. You can buy stock of any of these particular companies out there. Of course, I won't really delve much into this in this particular video, but you also need to do two things. What we call technical analysis and also fundamental analysis, for you to have a sense of how these different securities out there in the Nairobi Securities Exchange are bound to fare. And even so, pay more attention on fundamental analysis to stay abreast with what is happening in the respective companies in the respective sectors. And then the fourth way you can invest your 1 million shillings is by you investing in service outsourcing agency. What do I mean? Out here, guys, there is demand of services by different companies, but companies, more so small to mid-sized companies out there, don't really have the muscle to afford in-house some of these services out there which are periodic. For example, public relations. For example, HR outsourcing services, HR resourcing services. For example, services around social media management. You name it. There are some services out there which are ad hoc. Most of the times, companies, more so small to mid-sized companies, prefer to actually outsource these services. Reason being, by outsourcing, they're going to be able to cut on their operating costs. If you're passionate about any of these particular areas, and also if you have the relevant skills, maybe professional training on any of these particular areas, you can look to start an agency which speaks to any of these areas. Start small and then be able to scale up your offerings over time. Of course, when you are starting out, what is going to cost you a lot of money is branding, registration, and actually looking professional. But be sure, once you look in your first client, your second client, be sure you're going to be in very, very big business. And then the fifth way you can look to invest 1 million shillings is you investing as an angel investor. What do I mean? Angel investing is whereby you commit resources, more so money or funds, to a given promising startup, and you share, for example, in the profit of this particular startup. You, for example, have part ownership and so forth. Most of the times, angel investing is also actually compared, for example, venture capitalists. It's only that in angel investing, it is individuals lending money to other individual startups out there for them to be able to have capital. And then in venture capitalist is whereby there is venture capital firms out there which actually pulls funds, and then it is a firm which lends money to companies out there. You can be an angel investor, scan the market very well, find companies which are doing pretty well, which are promising, but they lack funds. They are small, and then look to invest in them for you to be able to optionally make money also when these companies perform very well in the market. And then the sixth way which you can invest 1 million shillings in Kenya is by you investing in the ICT sector. Guys, the ICT sector is a very, very robust sector. We are talking about it having an upside potential throughout. Think about, for example, software development. Think about, for example, investing in hardware repair, hardware sale, you name it. Think about, for example, someone investing in cyber cafe, which actually offers browsing services, printing services, scanning services, you name it. With 1 M Kenya shillings, you can be able to set up a very, very robust business, which can actually give you money over time. And then the 7th way you can invest 1 million Kenya shillings is by you investing in the fashion industry. What do I mean? Fashion industry is also the kind of industry which consistently performs. More so, in case you invest in an item which is fast moving out there. Think about, for example, investing in a cloth line or even types of clothing which you're selling. Think about, for example, investing in fragrance. People out here like to smell nice, okay? Invest in fragrance, perfumes, and so forth. And also you can be able to make good amount of money, okay? Beyond that, you can also invest in accessories. Think about, for example, necklaces, watches, you name it. With 1 Kenya shillings, you can even go, for example, to get brand new items and then seek way of selling in the market. And by the way, this kind of business also has very good margins, because sometimes you can even strike 50% return on an investment by selling a given single piece of a fashion item. And then the 8th way which you can invest 1 M Kenya shilling in Kenya is by you investing in electronics business. I don't really need to delve much into this, pretty sure, because in your house is full of electronics. Think about, for example, mobile phones. Think about, for example, laptops, computers, relevant accessories around electronics. Think about, for example, woofers, subwoofers, speakers, you name it. With 1 M Kenya shillings, you can be able to establish a small to mid-size electronics shops, wherever electronic shop, wherever it is in the country, whether it is in Nairobi, Mombasa, Eldoret, you name it. And be sure also with this kind of business, you can be able to make very insane margins, because most of the times you're talking about upwards of 30% return on a given single piece of item you're going to be selling. That tells you electronics business is also a lucrative business to jump into with just 1 million Kenya shillings. And then the 9th way you can invest 1 million Kenya shillings is by you investing in agri business. Guys, I'm talking about modern way of you doing agriculture. Think about dairy farming, poultry farming, beekeeping, fish farming, and even beyond that, think about value addition. In case you can produce these items, why not go ahead even beyond just production for you also to do value addition? And be sure, by you evoking production and also value addition, you can be able to make life-changing money through agri business. Of course, like any business out there, the starting point is for you to be able to learn and know how exactly you need to go about it, and you to know what you are supposed to do. But be sure, with 1 Kenya shillings, you can be able to start something which is going to really be life-changing, and even so, you can expand over time. Reason being, the profits from agri-business are also very insane profits over time. And then, the last way you can invest 1 million Kenya shillings in Kenya is by you investing in the food sector. I don't really need to delve much into this. I'm pretty sure wherever you live, for example, you can see there is a restaurant around that particular area. You can see there is a bar or a club around that particular area. You can see, for example, there's a bakery which sells breads, other confectionery items, you name it. You can jump on food sector businesses and be able also to make insane amount of money. And also in the food sector, value addition is also a way you can be able to even come up with a unique product which customers could possibly appreciate and keep coming back to your business for that particular product. Guys, what do you think about these 10 ways I've shared through which you can be able to invest 1 million Kenya shillings in Kenya? Is there an idea which has really enticed you? If there is, comment down below which idea has really caught your attention. Thanks a lot for watching. I look forward to share with you other awesome videos around investing, business ideas, personal finance next time. Bye bye, and you all stay safe.